Agriculture is one of the major sectors that is explored by the federal government as it strives to diversify the nation's economy. The plan is to export some of the thriving agricultural produce so as to increase foreign exchange. However, the export of agricultural produce from Nigeria has faced severe limitations. My guest is the Director General of the Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Service. Hello there, welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Gloria Umezuke. Now, just as Nigerians in the 36 states of the Federation were voting for state governors and members of the House of Assembly, residents of the Federal Capital Territory were voting for chairmen and councillors in the 6 area councils. For more details coming up on this week's FCT in Focus. Our conversation today is on the federal government's plan to increase export of agriculture produce. But first, what are the stories that made headlines within the week in the nation's capital?
The National Democratic Institute and the International Republican Institute are advocating the need for a national conversation aimed at strengthening the credibility of the nation's electoral process and safeguarding her democracy. The two organizations addressed a joint news conference to release their findings from the governorship and state houses of assembly elections.
Incidents of violence and disruption to the balloting process were observed by our delegates in Lagos, Benue, Rivers, and Nasarawa states. The delegation was informed of the loss of life as a result of election day violence. The mission deplores these losses and expresses its deepest condolences to the bereaved and to the Nigerian people. These actions and the impunity with which some electoral actors conducted themselves, including some polling agents and members of a military, undermine citizen confidence in elections and threaten the legitimacy of Nigeria's democracy.
The suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, was absent at the resumed Code of Conduct Tribunal hearing on medical grounds. He is facing charges of not declaring his assets. According to his lead counsel, Mr. Adegboga Womolu San, Mr. Onogen is battling a high blood pressure and has been ordered to remain on bed rest for 72 hours. The trial was adjourned to March 18 following a request for adjournment by the prosecution. President Muhammadu Buhari returned to Abuja after participating in the governorship and state houses of assembly elections in his hometown, Daura, Katsina State. The presidential aircraft that conveyed the president, his wife Aisha, and some of his aides landed at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at about 12:30 p.m. The National Assembly resumed plenary after taking a break to participate in the governorship and state houses of assembly elections. However, the session was immediately adjourned in honor of a member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Olatoyete Mitokpe, who was shot during the March 9 elections. The federal government has banned the Boeing 737 MAX 8 from flying in the Nigerian airspace. The Minister of Aviation, Mr. Hadi Sirika, told a news conference after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House that the ban is to ensure safety and security of Nigerians following the fatal crash in Ethiopia on Sunday.
It is to the knowledge of the ministry that they won't be here in this country within the next 2 years or so. And of course, this is period enough to sort out whatever problem is there with that particular airplane. And the world of aviation will not be sleeping, just as we are not.
The Senate has commenced debate on the 2019 budget, with some lawmakers asking the executive to be cautious with its borrowing plans. However, some of the lawmakers believe the country's borrowing is still within acceptable limits. The federal government has set up a committee to implement Nigeria's leather product policy. The committee was inaugurated by the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu.
This very sector can help us provide high-quality jobs for Nigerians. It will also help us to create wealth for individual Nigerians and also help us grow our gross domestic product.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has presented certificates of return to newly elected federal lawmakers. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, however, used the occasion to ask the newly elected lawmakers to expedite action on the electoral framework for the 2023 general elections.
But I want to appeal to the senators-elect to please start work early and conclude work on the electoral legal framework in good time, well ahead of the 2023 general elections.
President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the Nigerian private sector to work towards providing funds for HIV and AIDS-related activities in the country. The president made the request at the presentation of the Nigeria HIV Indicator and Impact Survey results for 2018.
These more accurate figures indicate that fewer Nigerians are affected by HIV. However, we cannot celebrate yet, as almost 1 million Nigerians living with HIV are currently not on treatment.
The president also has a charge for the private sector.
The Nigerian private sector to establish a national HIV trust fund in the coming months to support our goal of ensuring that all Nigerians have access to high-quality HIV treatment and prevention statements.
The federal government has set up an interministerial presidential inauguration committee that will plan, organize and execute all the activities leading up to the swearing-in ceremony of President Muhammadu Buhari on May the 29th this year. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, heads the committee, which includes the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister of Interior, General Abdurrahman Dambazao, Minister of Defense, General Mansour Dan Ali, and the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Comrade Adams Oshomole.
In the course of the implementation of this assignment, several subcommittees to be headed by ministers will be constituted. For inclusiveness, however, other members will be drawn from not just the MDS, but also from the All Progressive Congress, our party, the Presidential Campaign Council, the support groups, as well as Women and Youth Campaign Council.
Finally, President Muhammadu Buhari has again given assurance that his administration is guided by the desire to do what is best for the country at all times. The president was speaking when he received the people of Borgu Kingdom, led by the Emir of Borgu, Dr. Muhammad Haliru Danturu, and other traditional rulers from the Emirates in Niger and Kwara states.
Thank you very much for appreciating what I was able to do when I was in PTF. And what I have been able to do with the problems there of security generally. These are general problems throughout the country, and I assure you that I will continue to do my best. But I thank you most sincerely for mobilizing so many people from your kingdom and your neighborhood to come and say, we thank God and pray together for the success we have. I appreciate the adage that nothing succeeds like success. If we haven't won the election, I think we might have taken different directions all over the country. But we thank God, success brought us together again and firmed up our relationship.